Hello guys, welcome back to my new video. So in this video, I'll be explaining you about a few interview questions on basic GRC and also access risk analysis mainly. Okay, so let's start. So first and foremost thing, like first question will be like, what's the difference between GRC, the versions of GRC, 10.1 and 12? Because most of the people are using 10.1, and if they ask you like why you have to upgrade it to 12, what's there in 12? At that time, you can answer the difference between both 10.1 and 12, which is like basically GRC 10.1. It relies on SAP GUI. Okay, but in 12 we have SAP Fiori Launchpad in GRC also, where all these things which you can see here, like for submitting access request and all, you know, right, in Fiori everything is in tile. So for create request, for this create request, user level analysis, user level simulation, for all this you'll have some tails here. So using those tails you can do the same functionality. So that's more that UI is more good than this NetWeaver UI. So that you can tell. And the main one more thing is GRC 12 is more faster. Why? Because it leverages power of SAP in-memory database, um, which will be more faster than normal. In 10.1, basically we have NetWeaver ABAP Foundation. It's built on that. And also the main thing is the integration. When it comes to integration, GRC 10.1 have some limitations while integrating it to the third party tools. But when it comes to GRC 12, it can be integrated to cloud platforms also, which is SAP SuccessFactors and SAP Ariba. So these are the main differences between GRC 10.1 and 12. And coming to next question will be like, in GRC, what are the different components? Something like that. At that time, you can tell GRC access control, process control, and global trade services. So you have these are the three main things. You can use environment, health, and security. That also, but mostly people will be using these three things, which I told you first earlier. And what are the different modules under GRC access control? This you already know. The four modules like access request management, which is ARM, access risk analysis, which is ARA, and emergency access management, which is EAM, and business role management, which is BRM. Okay, so these are the four things. And coming to this rule set, ARA, like what are the different kinds of questions you'll be getting under ARA? Is like first. Okay, they might ask you, explain me the rule set. What is rule set? What is rule set? What does the rule set contains? Basically, rule set contains the risks. Okay, okay, access risk. It contains access risk. What are access risk? Access risk are nothing but two or more functions. Two or more functions. Okay, and then it's like when you tell two or more functions, they might ask you, okay, whether one function is not a risk, can we consider it as a risk? It's not an SOD risk, but we can tell it as critical action risk. So you can also write it as one or more functions, okay, that consider it as a risk, okay. And then under functions, what do you have? Under functions, we have actions, which is nothing but a T code, and permissions. So this is the whole thing is called a rule set. Okay. Uh, when they might ask you what is a rule, what is a rule, rule ID or rule. They might ask you what is rule ID also. At that time, you can tell it's basically a unique identifier. unique identifier assigned to a specific combination of conflicting actions or authorizations. Okay, it's just a unique identifier of, or you can tell it as a combination of conflicting actions or permissions. It's a combination of conflicting actions or permissions under one risk. Okay. So this is rule ID. I can show you that like whenever we are taking user level risk analysis also, you'll get something called in detailed report. You'll get these things. And the next question is like whenever you take user level risk analysis, what are the different options you'll find? So if I'm going to do some risk analysis here, okay, I'm going to take this, I'm going to take this, and here, okay, I think last time we mitigated this, let me include that. So whenever you want to include the mitigated risk, you can check this box. Okay, at that time, even though the risk is mitigated, you'll get all the risk that's available to that person. Okay, see, I got this. So here they might ask you under summary level, what are the different um, columns you'll get, like user ID access. You don't have to by heart this and tell, just know this, what are the things are there. So see, this is the rule ID which I told you. This is the combination. See, which is A00AD 00AD. This is the combination. Okay, and risk level we will have action last executed, execution count we will have, and if there is mitigation control ID, that also we will have. So under detailed, what you'll get, that you can see it here. You'll in the under detailed you'll get the role name also, role name and authorization object, its values, and the system. So all these things you'll get under a detailed view. So this question also they will ask you. They might ask you. It's not. It's mandatory. Uh, Other than that, the same thing goes for role level also. What are the things you'll find in role level risk analysis? And other than that, they might ask you what is, how will you do mass mitigation, which I told you in my previous video, where we'll be going for SA38, and there we have a program called GRAC Upload Mitigation Assignments or Download Mitigation Assignments. You can use those things, add the mitigation controls, add the users for whom you want to mitigate, and you can upload the same thing. Okay, and there will be some scenario based questions. Before that, I want to explain you some of the terms of risk analysis. Some of the terms of risk analysis that I'll be telling you, which is like what is offline and online risk analysis. Okay. Offline risk analysis is generally referred to as batch risk analysis, which you can see here, where in SPRO, in access risk analysis, you can see here, right, batch risk analysis. So this is nothing but batch risk analysis. It's not a live data, it's just the data collected there, and it gives you the reports of risk analysis. Okay. Online risk analysis, which you'll be going to user level and you'll be executing the risk analysis for the users. That's online risk analysis. What is false positive and false negative risk? Okay, false positive, false negative. What is false positive and false negative risk? So here you can explain what false positive means. Think like a person is having access to approve PO and this in one role, in role A, role 1, whatever it is, and approve PO and create PO in role 2. Okay, but in role 1 he have access to approve POs only for company code 1000. Okay, for create PO he have which is role 2, think like it's there for company code 2000. So he will be creating POs only for company code 2000, not for company code 1000. So when user have these two roles, definitely he'll be in a risk. Why? Because he have the T code access for approving POs and he have the T code access for creating POs. But it's not a risk actually. Why? Because um, it's for different company codes. But even though in risk analysis report it shows that's because due to T codes. Okay, these are called false positive risk. It should not come in risk analysis report, but it will come definitely. Okay, this is called false positive risk. False negative risk means there is a like we have any two T codes. Takes consider some T codes. Think like that's definitely a risk, but in the risk analysis report we are not able to see that risk. Did you understand the difference between two things, false positive and false negative? Which is false positive means there is that's not a risk, but still it's showing as a risk. False negative means that's a risk, but it's not showing in risk analysis report. Vice versa, false positive. So for in order to remove these kind of things and all, we have something called for positive risk, we have organizational rules, okay, or supplementary organization, not or, and supplementary rules to remove these kind of scenarios like false positive. False negative means basically to remove this basic what happens means either the rule set will not be, either the risk will not be properly, the values might be missing in risks. So at this time you might have to go and check the rule set to see why that risk is not popping up like that. In case of false negative, in case of false positive, we have these two things: organizational risk rules and supplementary rules. Where you can find that? So you can find that thing here in setup. So this is also something like mitigation ID, some kind of. So let me go and open this organizational rule. Here I'll set up a rule like if this is the scenario where user will be having different company codes and with the conflicting T codes, it should not show as a risk. At that time, what I can go and do, I have to create a organizational rule. Like in my system, I do not have any proper company codes maintained. So I'll just be telling you how to do this. Mm, let me So here you'll be creating the organizational rule like Z org rule 1. Okay. And what's the parent org rule? That also you can select, but that's not mandatory. And the risk ID. So risk ID, you have to select here what's the risk ID you are going to add. Where is that risk ID here? But you can just add the risk ID, whatever it is, and you can maintain the description. And then you have to maintain the organizational level. You can see the organizational level like company code and all. So so you can click on this and the value from like which value you are maintaining it to 10,000 and the other value which is um, 10,000 and this is the condition and the so you have to maintain this and the systems you have to maintain for which system you are going to add this. So you'll be adding the system here, whatever system you are for which system you are going to create and just click on save. Rule description can be just click on save. Once this is done, what you have to do is you have to go to your whenever you are taking risk analysis, whenever you are fetching risk analysis report, if you want that organizational rule to be considered, you have an option called consider org rules. That option in your see, you can see this right, which is consider org rule. So you can command click on this checkbox, and then if you run the risk analysis, the user will not be having any risks there. Okay, so this is how you'll be doing. And also one more thing is the same thing. This is for organizational value, but if you have any authorization objects, similar kind of false positive risk, then you can use supplementary rules. Like if you have a release strategy T codes where or something like only for except these users run the risk analysis for everyone. Think like you have a group or you have a specific table where you have maintained few specific users for whom the organization doesn't want to see risk analysis. At that time, what you can mention that table here, you can mention the system, and then you can check the field name like usernames basically, and then you can click on add field names. Okay, and then if you click on description and execute, so except these users for everyone the risk analysis will be taken. So for these kind of things you can use supplementary rules. Okay. uh, So this is about organizational rules and supplementary rules, and for these you definitely have some of the configuration settings. Like I'll show you. See, this is the first one for org rules. Whenever you are using org rules, you have this parameter 1021. Consider org rules for other applications, yes or no. That you can set it to yes, and also you have this is 1021, right? And also you have 1054 somewhere. Okay, 1054 might be in, you have 1054 maximum number of violations supported in organizational rule analysis. So you can use that, like you can maintain maximum number of violations. You can set the parameter value there, like how much you can do. And also for offline risk analysis also, see enable offline risk analysis, which is the parameter is 1027. You might get these questions also. What are the parameters that you need to set up in maintain configurations? And for supplementary rules, you have 1037, which is here. Use supplementary table for analysis. So basically, whenever it's default, when you click it as yes, it's default. Whenever you are running risk analysis, it first checks the supplementary table if anything is excluded, and excluding that, it will take the risk analysis. Okay. So these are the things about this risk analysis and different questions that you'll be getting. And what are different things, like they might ask you the different tables in GRAC, different tables in access risk analysis. What are different tables, like how will you fetch? Basically, all the tables starts with GRAC only, and few starts with GRFN under access risk analysis. Mm, let me go here. So these are the tables which you can see, like you can just copy this and filter it out. And there are a few tables which you'll not be knowing and you'll not be using that much, which is HRT 5320. Basically, this table will be used for like what are the different mitigation owners available, and what are the different for whom it is assigned, and who is the controller and the monitor. Okay, so that you'll be having here. So he is the monitor, he is the controller. He is the monitor, he is the approver. You can get these kind of reports here, the owner and the mitigation monitor and the approver. Okay. Uh, Other than that, you also have one more table which starts with HRP 5354. So here you'll have these object IDs, and using these object IDs you can use it in HRT 5320, and you'll get the monitor and the approver for that particular objects. Okay. So these are the two tables which you might be using, and SOD, who are the risk owner for SOD, GRAC SOD, risk owner. So you can get this also, like who are the owners for their that particular SOD risk. You can execute this, you'll get few things. So for this access risk ID, he is the owner. Basically, I have not set up any owner for any access risk ID. So because of that, it's only single. I'll be showing you like how to add that also, like in access request while doing access request management, I might be showing you. Oh, so these are the different questions in basic. You will be getting the tables only. Remember all the tables, some important tables of mitigation controls, and some important tables which are used for access risk analysis, remediation part also, and the SOD owners, how to find out that. So these questions you'll be getting, and then let me check in access management. You might get question like whenever you are doing instead of you going and doing the access risk analysis, is it possible to do the access risk analysis whenever? a request is submitted. Yes, that's possible. We have a parameter for that also, which you can check in SPRO, maintain configuration settings, access control. So here in which you can find it here, like in request submission, risk analysis access request. So whenever a request is submitted, it should do access risk analysis on its own, enable risk analysis upon request submission, which is parameter ID is 1071. Okay. So these are the things, enable SOD violations at all. So you can check all these things. So these are the main question answers under access risk analysis. Like if I left any, I'll be covering it by end of the playlist. So until then, kindly like, share, and subscribe this video. Kindly share it with your friends also. Thank you.